Yes, hello, Buddhists. Today, shall we talk about aliens for a moment? In Buddhism, basically, Buddhism recognizes not only our human world, but also other worlds, referred to as other realms. In particular, there are about 4 places designated where beings similar to humans live. There are countless places where beings exist in forms different from humans. Starting with the places where dragons mainly reside, there are also places where golden phoenixes live, and many different worlds exist. All of those are recognized as well. From that perspective, it would definitely be a place in another universe, so we can certainly consider them aliens. Now, let me talk about what those beings we call aliens might actually be like. Specifically, you can think of our current world as being somewhat to the south, while to the north. There's a world called Uldanwon, which has a very vast land area for its beings. Basically, the land where they live is shaped like a square and is very vast, located to the north of Mount Sumeru, and it is said that the appearance of the people there resembles the shape of the land. Looking at that, one might think that their faces are somewhat broad. So how did they come into being in the first place? And people say that the shape of their faces resembles the shape of the land. Looking at that, one might think that their faces are somewhat broad. So how did they come into being in the first place? It's the same as us. They are born through the love between men and women. Looking at that, one might think that the people there have somewhat broader faces. So how did they come into being in the first place? It's the same in that they are born through the love between men and women. First, the man gives a gaze. When a man gives a gaze filled with love, if the woman sees it and likes it, she follows him. She follows him. Where are we going? We're going under the tree. It's described as a tree, but in my view, it's a kind of... You can think of it as a place where everything, like special homes, is equipped with automated facilities. When they go there first, the man and woman, they can tell if someone is their aunt's child, which would be like a cousin today, or if they are of the same lineage. They automatically discern that if they are cousins or 6th cousins or 8th cousins, they say a tree doesn't move at all. That tree automatically provides everything, giving clothes and food. It's a machine that automatically provides everything like bedding and such, but it doesn't give anything in that case. Then they part ways. If 2 people are completely unrelated, then leaves of the tree suddenly become lush, creating shade, and it is said that it covers the 2 people. It's described as them playing and frolicking inside. It's said that it covers those 2 people while they play and frolic inside. It's described as them playing and teasing inside. Then she gets pregnant with the child. On the 7th day, she gets pregnant, and by the 8th day, she gives birth. Since the pregnancy period was so short, do you think there will be maternal love? Do you think there will be... I don't think so, right? There isn't much maternal love. They say that they just leave the children out on the streets, where many people walk by. There seems to be a specific place where they leave them. When they leave them there, passers-by see them, and among them, someone with a connection might say, "Oh, how pitiful those kids are." They say, "What if I leave them like that?" They might die, and they put their hand in their mouth. When they put their hand in the child's mouth, food is said to be delivered through that hand. That person is raising the child, and they grow up quickly. Still, by around the 8th day, they quickly reach a position similar to that of an adult. Then, they don't live together in groups of men and women, but they go off to find their own groups within the mixed groups of men and women. And naturally, they'll receive education and learn how to adapt to society. You can tell that it's a world where there isn't much of an attachment to the father and mother. And as they grow up, eat food just like we do. They say something like rice grows without a shell. You pick it, put it in a bowl, and use a bead called huaju to cook it. The huaju emits fire, cooking the food, which looks like clustered flowers. It doesn't resemble our rice, and its smell and taste are sufficient, needing no broth or soup. After eating, people naturally need to urinate. There's a bead called huaju, spits fire. Place it under a bowl to cook. The huaju catches fire and cooks the food. It resembles clustered flowers. Its aroma and flavor are enough. After eating, people naturally need to urinate. When defecating, the ground splits open. The ground then covers the waste, removing filth. Ancestors likely wondered its meaning. But now, people can easily understand. Today, toilets have sensors that open and close automatically. Flushing is automatic. It is said that when a person presses the toilet, the ground naturally splits. If you place the toilet there, the ground automatically covers it and removes the dirt. You know, when I think about it, our ancestors probably wondered what this meant when they read it. But I think people listening to this story now can easily understand. Nowadays, when you look at toilets, there are sensors that automatically open when someone approaches, and they close when you leave. The flushing also happens automatically. Things have really improved. Just from that, you can tell that the scientific civilization of the beings living in this northern region is much more advanced than ours. They say that they often go to the big ocean for fun. That place is like a playground where no one restricts entry, and anyone can come and go freely. They leave their clothes on the hillside and go play. Then, when they're out in the middle of the ocean having fun, they need to put their clothes back on when they come back, right? But they just wear whatever clothes are available, regardless of whose they are. It seems like there's no real distinction between yours and mine in that world. And the beings, they have a lifespan of 1,000 years. They say that they give birth to beings with a lifespan of 1,000 years, and there aren't many illnesses in between. There are no illnesses, and if you are born there, you can generally live up to 1,000 years, and then die. When they die, most of them go to the heavenly realm, because the beings there follow what we call the 10 good deeds, or the 10 precepts. They say there are 10 precepts like not killing, not stealing from others, and not speaking ill of others. Basically, people live their lives while adhering to these principles. So there aren't many cases where they harm others while doing different things, and they mainly enjoy hanging out and playing together. From what I see, it looks like a really good world. They say that after living in such a place, dying, you are reborn into an even better world. Now, I've talked about the appearance and way of life of the extraterrestrial beings mentioned, the scriptures. It's clear that Buddhism acknowledges the existence of aliens. So, people are passionately debating and pondering whether aliens exist or not. For those who believe in Buddhism, there's nothing to worry about. There is. There definitely is. And that's what Buddhists always think. Now, in the northern Oldanwon, the lifespan is 1,000 years, but in the Western realms, it's about 200 years. How about us? Our lifespan is around 100 years, right? But now, health is continuously improving, and people are living longer, aren't they? So, when we see that a better world is associated with longer lifespans, we can clearly understand that it is indeed a better world.